Namaste, yogis. Thanks for practicing with me. I'll call this a slower flow practice. By its very nature, it's going to be core centric because that's what needs to happen. One of the things that need to happen on transitions. And transitions, like in life, are the trickiest part of the practice. But if you get used to always building a pose from something softer to something bigger, you're always training your body in the direction of potentially what is to come. You're also training yourself to be okay with what's happening in the moment, to be present to just this first little piece. And I think that's what happens in life transitions. We get overwhelmed thinking we have to understand or know it all at one time versus today. What's the information today? And as a yogi, how do I respond with grace, with ease, with love, with compassion, and with truth? We call that Sat Chit Ananda, knowing yourself and the truth of yourself so that you can move into a more blissful, loving place. If you have two blocks, you'll use them in this practice. And if you don't, whenever I tell you to use a block, you'll just use your hands on the mat. It will make it, the blocks make it somewhat easier in some instances and somewhat more challenging. So you'll see how it goes with that. And if you don't like working with them, just skip it altogether. We're going to start with your forearms on the blocks into a version of any child's pose you like. In fact, I kind of have my elbows, my forearms on blocks. I can just let my hands dangle off, but you might need to put the blocks further closer to your hands or somewhere else. It should feel like an easy start. I've got the blocks on the lowest setting here. Deep breath in. Exhale out of your mouth. If you feel a little compressed, inhale, lift your chest slightly, move your chest forward, and then exhale, release back down. Deep breath in, out of the mouth. So if you tend to get anxious on transitions, you might say to yourself, I am calm, I am strong, I am centered, I am open. If you feel like you resist transitions, you might say, I am open, I am willing, I am interested, I am energized. So setting an intention for your practice can help you center your focus emotionally and mentally. One more breath here. Then bring your hands to the top of your blocks or just the mat if you're working with a mat, and come on up to a tabletop with the blocks underneath your hands. So this gives us a little more length right out of the gate. Press down into your hands, lift your chest, roll your shoulders slightly back, but resist squeezing or pulling your shoulders aggressively down. That can be hard on the neck and the shoulder. And then exhale, reach your right leg back so you're on the ball of your right foot. Now, the tendency for us is to roll the hip open. I'm going to ask you to roll the hip down. And not only am I asking you to roll your right hip down, which is easier to feel, but I'm asking you to feel the very center of your hip socket, and let the center of your hip socket kind of be your leveling place, your turning slightly in place. It's a little softer than pulling the hip down. See if you can find that. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it. From here, lift your right leg up, not very high, reach strongly through your right toes. Exhale, flex your foot, bend your knee, then lift your heel higher. Roll the hip in or center the hip if that's making sense to you, and then re-extend your right leg. Stay here or float your left arm up. Thumb lifts to the sky. Chest reaches forward. Draw your ribs in, lift out of your right hand. Deep breath. Exhale, release your left hand down. Draw your right knee to your chest. Flex your right foot. Draw your right knee higher up. Then send the legs straight back, center your hip. Put the ball of your right foot down. Lift your chest. Stay here, or exhale, lift your left knee towards your chest. Inhale, step your left foot back. You're into plank pose. Or half plank, lower the knees. Deep breath in, full breath out. Inhale, and then exhale. Keep your hands on the blocks or on the floor. Just a breath. Get off of the arms for a moment. Let your head drop down. If you're using a power statement, I am open. I am energized. Repeat it to yourself. And then shift forward. Hands and knees or hands on blocks. As you exhale, send your left leg back, center the hip. Draw your ribs in, lift your heart. Lift your left leg up, point your toes. Exhale, flex your heel, and then bend your knee, lift your leg a little higher, center the hip. So the tendency is always when we lift the leg to turn the hip out. So we keep reiterating, reach your leg back, draw your ribs in. Exhale, draw your left knee to your left chest. Flex your foot, lift your knee a little higher, push the floor away. Good. Inhale, send the leg back out, re-extend, lower. I missed a step. Lift your left leg up. Point the toes, reach your right arm forward. Press out. So that's going to happen on transitions too, right? You might miss a step, then you have to go back and see where you need to dial in a little bit more. Now release, plug the left foot down, center your hip, inhale, and exhale, draw your right knee perhaps to your chest. Send it back, plank, or lower the knees, half plank. Lower your knees, turn your hands out on the block, so you're holding the outer block with your hands or the mat directly. You might bring your knees and ankles together, lift your chest. As you exhale, bend your elbows without dropping the front of your shoulders down or dropping your head. So the head doesn't drop, the shoulders don't slunch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Now we've got our I am song. Exhale, bend. Up to 3 more. I don't know about you, but I don't want to do chaturanga any other way now. This feels so much better to me. It's easy to draw your elbows back with this arm variation. Shift back, child's pose. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. Lift your chest. Tuck your toes. Exhale. Lift into a short, probably downward facing dog. So the blocks make it a little wobbly, but they actually will help you strengthen your arms, even though it makes it more possible to lift your hips. Makes the next transition more possible. Inhale, right leg lifts. Point your right toes, center your hip. Flex your foot, bend your knee, lift your leg higher, center your hip. Lift up high under the ball of your left foot. Exhale, draw your right knee towards your chest. Shift forward, lift your right leg higher, and then practice stepping your right foot just outside of the right block. And you notice I step with my heel quietly. That's a big transition, to get your heel down and then the front of your foot. Lower your left knee down. Lizard pose, hands on the blocks, roll your chest back. Now, if you're super duper flexible, you can always come down to forearms. Most of us will stay more upright. This gives us a moment to get a nice back bend through the upper back. Center your left hip. And in this transition, I'm letting my front leg turn out a little bit because of the block. Eventually we won't. Now from here, shift your hips back, straighten your right leg. You might have to still come up on fingertips. Rather than folding down today, lift your chest, reach it forward, and then one more time. Yes, you can turn both hips forward. You've heard headlight the hips. See if you can find a feeling of the center of your hip socket centering to the front of your mat. For many of us, that feeling will be more like a feeling of turning the leg in, maybe. Good, inhale here. Exhale, shift forward, bring your hands to the blocks. Stretch your left leg straight, and then draw your right knee to your chest. Point your toes, and then lift your right leg back up to the sky, stretch it straight, and then lower it next to your right foot. Inhale. Push the floor away, push the blocks away, exhale. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Turn your hands out on the blocks, center your hips. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale, straighten. Can you put your knees down? For sure. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Up to 2 more, or come back to down dog sooner if you need to. Turn your hands more forward. So we meet back in dog with the hands on the blocks. Inhale, left leg. So this is one of the harder transitions in yoga, and it's taught all the time. Point your toes. Stepping your foot forward is not for the weak. It's a strong transition. Good. Exhale, bend your knee, lift your leg higher, square your hip. Inhale here, rise high under the ball of your right foot. Square the hip again, even the right hip. Exhale, draw left knee towards the left side of your face. Good. Point your toes, lift your leg higher, and then flex your foot. See if you can do a soft, quiet landing. Lower your right knee. And the reason we want a soft, quiet landing is if you've got that much control, you won't make sounds. So you know that you're doing it, I don't want to use the word right, because you know I'm not a fan of that, center your hips, but you're doing it with some control and yogi grace. Roll the shoulders back. Come down to your forearms if you need a deeper stretch. Center that right hip. And the transition, reach your hips back, keep your chest forward, flex your left foot. So I'm just going to move out of the way so you can see I'm pulling my toes back, but rather than folding over, I'm keeping a sense of reaching forward, which plays into our next transitions. Inhale. And exhale, shift forward, hands on the blocks. Draw your left knee to your chest, point your toes, lift your left leg to the sky, center the hip. Exhale, release, left foot next to right foot. Deep breath in, full breath out. Rise high to the balls of your feet, bend your knees, empty your breath. You might hop quietly up. Oh, that wasn't quiet. That was the loudest hop I've ever done in my life. Because the camera's on. Okay, good. Take your blocks on high if you're using them. A deep breath in, full breath out. Inhale, lift your right leg up, standing splits. So stepping back is always easier than stepping forward in general. Point your right toes, center your hip. Flex your foot, squeeze your heel to your butt, and then lift your leg higher. Center the hip again, then re-extend your right leg. We're going super slow as we break down the transition. Then it becomes all one movement. Bend your left knee deeply, exhale. Quiet step of your right foot. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up, crescent pose. Now, you'll see a big arch in my low back. I like to bend my knee just to get more length to the spine, but you can keep your leg totally straight. Inhale here. Exhale, swim your arms backwards to open the shoulders, lean forward, reach to your blocks. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, bend your left knee, step your right foot back, reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, circle back, reach your long spine forward, standing splits. Inhale. Exhale, bend, soft step, arms to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, swim your arms back, long spine forward, standing split. Bend, step back, reach up, inhale. Exhale, swim back, forward, inhale. Last one. Exhale, step back, arms to the sky, reach up, swim around, standing splits. Release your right foot next to your left foot. Inhale, lift your chest. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Reach strongly through your toes. Bend your heel, flex your foot, bend your knee, lift higher, center your hip. Re-extend your leg, point your foot. Bend your right knee deeply. Soft step, don't worry about how big it is. Arms reach to the sky, breathe. Remember the back knee can bend here, exhale. Inhale, get taller. Exhale, circle, so a little slow on this very first one. Reach your arms and spine as long forward, inhale. Lift up, standing splits. Exhale, quiet step back. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, swim your arms back. Long spine forward. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, circle. Maybe you're moving even more slowly than I am. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step back. Inhale, rise up. Swim. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, step back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, standing splits. Last one, exhale, step back. Rise up. Standing splits. Exhale, forward fold. Move your blocks completely out of your way. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back with your right foot, lower your knee. Hands stay down or inhale, arms circle up. Exhale, practice circling your arms back to open your shoulders, hands come down. Inhale, straighten your right leg, lift your left knee. Exhale, split dog. Inhale, shift forward, split plank, lower the foot to modify, lower the knees to modify further. Good, lower the knee and have the leg lifted. Exhale, lower to the mat, shoulders roll back. Click your toes down, roll your shoulders back, Bhujangasana, or pull forward for up dog. Center the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Heel to your butt, lift high to the ball of your foot. Draw your knee to your chest, heel strike forward, lower your left knee. Hands stay down for a softer practice, or inhale, reach up. Exhale, circle back. Inhale, transition, heart forward, standing splits, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot meets the right foot, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, half lift. Exhale, fold in deep, left foot steps back, lower your knee. Stay here or circle your arms, inhale. Exhale, roll the chest open, hands come to the floor. Straighten your left leg, lift your right knee towards your chest, then to the sky, split dog. Keep the leg lifted, center the hip. Shift forward to plank pose. Lower the foot or the knees, exhale all the way down. Roll your chest open, cobra, or lift the thighs, center the hips, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lift up high, bend your knees, empty your breath. Either walk or a little soft hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. That was funny. Exhale, fold in. I didn't trust myself, rise up. There was a little moment where I didn't trust myself to hop forward because of my first clunky hop. And that's life. That's like life. You make a mistake or you think you make a mistake and you're like, oh my God, I can't do that again. Notice those little things that even come up in a little yoga practice that we're doing. Here we go. Here we go where? I don't know. You're coming with me. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose with the arms out in front. Squeeze your arms back, firm the arms, turn the palms open, reach up, stand up, lift your right knee to your chest, exhale. Inhale, bring your hands to your heart. Squeeze your right heel to your butt, center your hips. So I could say both hips forward, but see if you can even feel your hip sockets. Then squeeze your arms back. Roll your shoulders back, a little bit of a back bend. Straighten your right leg and point your foot. Reach your left arm up and your right arm down. So this is a variation of Warrior 3. I could come a little further forward, but I don't want you to round your back. Center your hip. Now bend your left knee really deeply. Feel that. Because right now I'm interested in a transition. I'm not interested in a pose. Flex your right foot and then step your right foot to the right side of your mat. So you're a little wider. And when you step, there's no clunk. It's not like, it's just a soft step, right? Now do me a favor. Walk your left foot more to the left. So you've got a nice wide space. Bend your left elbow behind your head. Either hold your elbow with your hand as you center the hips forward, or roll your right shoulder back and take a clasp. You may or may not hold your fingers. You might be holding your shirt. Good. Lengthen your spine. Strong reach into your right outer hip, right outer foot. Turn slightly to the left and then lengthen your spine forward. Lengthen the front of your hips all the way into the middle of the balls of your feet. Center the hip sockets to the middle of the balls of your feet. Don't be afraid to turn a little more to the left. Inhale, lift your chest. Reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Come onto the ball of your right foot. Lift your left knee to your chest and then to the sky for split dog. Inhale. Keep the leg lifted or lower it down. Modify the practice as you need to. Hold dog for 5 breaths or shift forward to plank or half plank. Exhale through chaturanga, holding into up dog or lowering for cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so if we are going to do that soft jump, that soft landing, as I caught myself being afraid and avoiding, so let's just see if I can approach it. I'm going to bring my feet closer in. I'm going to lift my heels, I'm going to bend my knees, and pull my belly and look where you're going and just think, make no sound. Exhale, hop forward. Yeah, I haven't been practicing that, and that's why it's a little tricky. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in deep, press into your feet, circle your arms all the way up. Samasthitihi, hands come to heart center. Take a moment. 3 cycles of your I am statement to yourself. Sit back, arms reach forward, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, squeeze your arms back behind you. Firm the arms. Neck is long. Inhale, circle the arms to the sky, stand up, and exhale, lift your left knee up. Bring your hands to your heart. Squeeze your heel to your buttock. Center your hips. Reach your arms back, tone your arms, reach back. Lengthen your leg, point your toes. So you're a little more upright. You can come slightly forward, but watch rounding forward. Spine is long, shoulders are back. Bend your right knee, flex your left foot, step to the left. Pause. Feel that soft landing. Don't worry about how big your stance is. That's not important. It's the transition that's important. It's the transition softly with strength that you really take with you off of the mat. Move your right foot to the right. Right arm up, left arm down. Bend your right elbow behind you, hold, or shrug your left shoulder back for the full clasp. Center your hip sockets to the middle of the balls of your feet. I hope that makes sense to you. Feel the connection. Lengthen your spine forward and then slightly turn to the right. Lots of energy in your outer left foot. Lift the back of your head. Inhale back up. Reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, navel to spine, circle down. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Right knee to chest. Right leg to the sky, split dog. Center the hip. Shift forward to full or half plank, leg lifted or not. Exhale, pausing in chaturanga or coming all the way down. Cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Squeeze your heel to your butt, lift higher, point your toes. Keep your toes pointed, lift high to the ball of your left foot, square your hips. Keep your toes pointed, bring your knee towards your chest, and then tap the back of your right wrist with your knee. Keep your toes pointed. Square your hips or center your hips. You can relax your back toes or keep them tucked under. Stay upright for a few moments. I just want to show you something. Just pretend my back leg isn't, my left leg is still in pigeon. If I'm on an angle here, I want to stay pointed so the top of my foot stays onto the mat. Like this. This is the better line for the knee to the foot. If you're truly in that figure 4 variation of pigeon, then you do flex the foot. And you flex the foot so that your ankle doesn't roll in, but the inner bottom outer ankle is lifted so that there's clarity between the foot, the shin, and the knee. I hope that makes sense. So if your foot is closer to your groin here, then you're on the top of a pointed foot. If you've got the figure 4 where your foot is parallel to the front of the mat, then you want to work towards the flexed foot. I'm somewhere in between, so I usually have to be more in the pointed foot. Turn your chest forward, and you've already been upright for a long time. Some of you will feel more stretch in your back hip by being up in a back bend. Some of you will feel more stretch or prefer coming forward. And for most of us, that gets into the buttock. So check it out. Any variation of Ekapada Raja Kapotasana prep that you like. I like to make a pillow with my hands and lie all the way down. Fantastic. Come up on an inhale. Set your hands up. Now, for fun, why not? Let's make it fun. Grab those blocks, bring your hands on the blocks. Tuck your left toes under, pull your chest forward, then pick your right leg up, and then open up the hip. I like to open my hip with a straight leg. It feels better on my knee, but you can open your hip any way you like. Lower. Left leg lifts. Bend the knee, but point your foot, lift high onto the ball of your right foot, and then send your left knee outside of your left wrist. Slide your right leg back. It can be helpful to have the blocks. Now I'm getting a deeper stretch, not only in my back hip, I'm going to untuck my toes. It feels better on my knee. Not only am I getting a deeper stretch, I'm getting a deeper back bend. So I get more intensity with my hands on the blocks. I get more opening through my belly and my psoas. Don't be too worried about, I didn't do blocks on the first side, so I can't do blocks on the second side. Your body's not as uptight as we all are about getting that kind of exercise mentality of I'd have to do 8 on one and then 8 on the other. And if I only do 7 here, I'm somehow going to be different. It's just not true. When you watch kids playing, I'll never forget when I watched my daughter just do a handstand over and over and over again. And she'd occasionally do it on the other side, but everything was the same and she was fine. Deep breath in. If you're doing it with good intention and posture, it also matters. So nice long spine, inhale and exhale. So on the top of the foot, if it's closer to you, flexing the foot if it's further away. You're looking for the relationship between your knee, your shin, and your ankle. And then at some point, you probably decided to come down, maybe sooner rather than later. You can make a pillow with your hands. You can't come down that far. It's always nice to do elbows and hold your forehead with your hands, or you have blocks you can use underneath your forehead if you like. Great. Let's use the blocks. If you use them on the other one, bring them back so they're flat. Give you more length. Shift forward, straighten your right leg, pick up your left knee. Probably have to hop the right foot in and then open your left hip any way that feels good in your body. Release, down dog. Walk your feet up. Move your blocks or hold on to your blocks if you want to use them. Sit down. Bring your feet forward. Slowly roll down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Slide your blocks if you need them under your thighs. Supta Baddha Konasana. Let your shoulders roll open. Slow your breath down. If Supta Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose on your back, is really asking too much of your hips, we just did a long hip opener, so could be redundant for you, but I sometimes find it really soothing. So if it's feeling soothing, maybe stay for another 10 or 15 breaths. Otherwise, bring your knees together, and if you don't have blocks, just lift your legs to the sky, and if you do have blocks, set one on each side of your pelvis, and then you can lift your legs to the sky. Waterfall pose. If your legs get shaky, you can take this milder version of a supported bridge posture. Whatever pose you're in, come back to your I am statement. Repeat it to yourself 5 times slowly. Your legs are up or out, take them down and in. Move the blocks out of your way unless you like to use them for Shavasana. Then in that case, you place them about the middle of the back of your thigh, so not too close to your butt for support. Let your palms roll open. You might softly roll your head from side to side, just as a transition into settling down. A transition from movement into stillness. Stillness of the outer body, observing your breath move in your low belly as you rest. Every exhale dropping into deeper levels of ease, of trust, of opening, of balancing, of shifting into higher planes of vibration and deeper levels of relaxation and peace. If you prefer to close your practice, continue to rest in Shavasana this way. Otherwise, stay completely still and invite a deeper breath. As the breath deepens, you might start to do some subtle movement. Start small. And then at some point, bend one knee and then the other. Move any props out of your way. Transition to one side and rest for a couple of breaths. Turn towards the earth with your eyes closed to press up to a seat, and practice crossing the leg in front that doesn't want to go in front, at least once in a while. Sit up tall. Let the top of your thighs feel soft for a moment. Move the crown of your head slightly back and then up. Circle your arms to the sky, inhale. Draw your hands to your heart, exhale. If we resist the changes that are inevitable, we may miss the changes that are possible. Keep taking in the information in this moment, this present moment. It may be different than it was a while ago. Know it. Let it resonate to your own truth so that you can step into bliss. Namaste.